Sony Computer Entertainment stopped by Zadzook's headquarters to talk Ratchet & Clank Future, A Crack in Time, debuting October 27th on the PS3. Luckily, Insomniac Games' creative director for the Ratchet franchise, Brian Allgeier, magically appeared and felt like showing off the new game.
I'm Brian Allgeier. I'm the creative director on the Ratchet franchise at Insomniac Games, and I'm here to show Ratchet & Clank Future, A Crack in Time. Ratchet's right now in Axiom City on his way to meet up with another Lombax called Alistair Azimuth. And they're both searching for some zoning technology so Ratchet can find his best friend, Clank. So as you can see here, Ratchet's actually gotten a nice upgrade since Tools of Destruction and Quest for Booty. He's got a bit more fur around his ears. We've upgraded our fur shaders so that it has a more natural look to it. We also have more shinier specular maps, and we've improved our shadows. There's some self-shadowing that happens on Ratchet and on other characters that make our characters feel much more lifelike. So I'm going to head into Axiom City here and show off some cool new weapons. One weapon here is the Sonic Eruptor, which is this creature that Ratchet holds, and if you time the button just right, you can do a more powerful attack. So for example, if I fire it at the wrong time, it'll still do a really powerful blast, but if you fire it just the right time, when these two bars fill up, it'll be an even larger, louder blast. Ratchet's also got some cool new gadgets like the hover boots, which allow him to leap off of ramps and get around the levels much quicker. So here's an example of some floating barges where Ratchet can jump, leaping off of each barge, and make his way through the city to finally meet up with his friend Azimuth. So this is Azimuth here. He's another Lombax. He's the white and red striped guy. And he's also using the fur shader too. I'm going to try to get up close to him. He's kind of in the middle of combat here. He's probably wondering what I'm doing here. So I'm going to help Azimuth out, use some cool new weapons here. We've got the Chimpomatic, which will turn enemies into monkeys here. The robot enemies turn into robot monkeys.
We'll have to find another point of entry.
And the more organic creatures turn into, well, regular monkeys. More enemies are going to come in. I'm going to show off a few new weapons here. We've got the Spiral of Death. And this is a giant energy buzzsaw that Ratchet can fire out and then it returns back to his gun. So oftentimes what you'll want to do is you'll want to hit enemies on the first shot and then try to hit them when the blade comes back into the gun. This weapon was actually designed by a fan as part of our My Blaster Runs contest that we actually held on our website. And fans submitted over 1,000 weapon submissions. And this one won. The fans voted on it and picked this one, and we based it off of the original concept artwork that the fan created. This is the Rift Inducer 3000. And what it does is it will latch onto enemies and pull them into this black hole. So it's a giant, like, tentacled creature. And so you typically want to fire it in just the right spot, and it will take a bunch of enemies out. I'm going to use that a little bit later here after I get rid of a few of these enemies. So as you can see, Azimuth's helping out here. And he's actually very effective in taking lots of enemies out, but of course he won't do all of the work, and Ratchet will have to help as well. I'm going to run over here where a few more enemies are being deployed here. These are the minions of Dr. Nefarious. They're these robot creatures. This is a Proto-Mantis here, which is a very high-powered, heavy-duty enemy that you really want to make sure you take cover from, because they'll take you out pretty quickly. This is a great spot to use the Rift Inducer, where I can kind of hide behind cover, toss out a Rift Inducer, and smack him around, deal lots of damage, and then yank him up into the vortex. Of course, everyone's favorite weapon, the Groovatron, is making a return, and you can toss this out and the enemies will dance. These guys will break dance here. And of course, as you can see in the background, even Azimuth will dance. Doing a little John Travolta action here and some Michael Jackson. So of course every enemy, every character in the game has a dance, and it's always fun to pull out the Groovatron and see what they'll do next. Of course it's very strategic in that you can make them dance and then use one of your cool weapons against them. This is the constructor shotgun I'm using here, which it's basic shotgun, but you can modify it with a bunch of different weapon mods. So that's an example of some of the Ratchet and Clank Future A Crack in Time gameplay with the weapons and hover boots. There's a lot of incredible action throughout the game, as well as some cool puzzles that Clank has to solve. The story is told from two different perspectives, one from Ratchet on his journey to find Clank, and then Clank's perspective while he's entrapped in a location called the Great Clock, where he has to find out more about his destiny.
That's it for this week's episode of Zadzuk's Video Game Minute. Thanks for watching and playing. I'm Joseph Zadkowski.